A lot of big 2020 news to tell you about, including Bernie Sanders refusing to back away from his love affair with communist Cuba. And will mini Mike Bloomberg take another beating on the debate stage tonight? That's all coming up later. But first, to President Trump mixing it up with the liberal media before leaving from India. Donald Trump hitting back against the failing narrative that Russia's trying to help him get reelected.
They never told me anything about that. And it was sort of a strange thing that they went to Bernie. It was highly exaggerated. And frankly, I think it's disgraceful. And I think it was leaks from the Intelligence Committee. I think probably Schiff leaked it, but people within that, Schiff leaked it, in my opinion. And he shouldn't be leaking things like that. That's a terrible thing to do.
President Trump saving his best jabs, though, for CNN's Jim Acosta.
First of all, I want no help from any country, and I haven't been given help from any country. And if you see what CNN, your wonderful network, said, I guess they apologized in a way for, didn't they apologize for the fact that they said certain things that weren't true? Tell me, what was their apology yesterday? What did they say?
Mr. President, I think our record on delivering the truth is a lot better than yours sometimes, if you don't mind me saying.
Let me tell you about your record. Your record is so bad you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You have probably
I'm
the
not
worst
ashamed
record.
of anything, and our
You probably have the
organization
worst
is not
record in the
ashamed,
history
sir.
of broadcasting.
And just when we thought sore loser Hillary Clinton had gotten over 2016, she's back, warning about Russia.
Obviously, we know the Russians are continuing to try to choose our next president like they chose our last president. And we just have to be more vigilant, and people have to pay attention to trying to get the best possible information. And, you know, don't believe everything you see on the internet. That is one of the greatest challenges facing democracy right now.
Dana, she used to say, well, this was my excuse and this was my excuse, but you know what? I lost and I take responsibility. That's out the window now. Now she's just saying Russia chose Trump.
Yeah, you can never actually heal from an election and recover if you're not honest for the reasons. Now, she truly seems to believe that Russia gave President Trump the election. There have been several investigations at the highest levels of government that have not proven that to be so. And yes, does Russia want to put some ads out there? Do they like to meddle? Probably, yes. That's fine. But I think that for President Trump, one of the ways to answer those questions is to say, I don't need their help.
Right.
I have a record. I ran on this record. I don't need their help. And please, if you're trying to help me, I don't need your help. Something like that would just be more, like I said yesterday, derisive of Russia rather than building them up to be something that they're not.
Greg, Jim Acosta, I mean, the nerve to say that CNN has a great track record on telling the truth. Wow. I don't know.
Well, CNN's ratings are in steep decline, and we see that because we see the ratings every day. And it is because I believe they've lost the trust of the American people by becoming the weekly world news for Trump derangement. It's like everybody, it's like if they can link the Bat Boy to Trump, they're going to put it on the cover. And it's like they can't see themselves. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant against the media.
Oh.
I'm going to try something new, Juan, if you don't mind.
Great. Why try anything new?
Exactly. Well, this is an epiphany, okay? So we've watched the Fourth Estate shattered since 2016. Embarrassment after embarrassment, right? After I or you, we've been living decades kind of in this sealed narrative of cultivated stories that help make money for these corporate companies. But I started thinking that it's not actually about the events, which are Russia, Avenatti, Smollett, Covington, Kavanaugh. It's the fact that they all happened in a concentrated time, all in succession. Used to be isolated, like things like Bork or Richard Jewell. But in the last 4 years, we have seen so many of them. And I'm beginning to wonder if it's because there are more of them or because we have become so red-pilled that now we finally see them for what they are. And now we question everything that we didn't question before. Like we question, are we getting the right stuff about coronavirus? Are we getting the real story? And I think that's super healthy that we do not trust this. And like one of Trump's big achievements is that he put a scar across the face of media that will never go away, and that everybody can see that scar for the rest of their lives. And I think it's super important.
Can I add one thing on that? because there is some evidence that Russia has been spreading misinformation about the coronavirus online on purpose to cause people fear and chaos and things. And that is someplace where President Trump could turn around and say, knock it off. Like enough of that. And I think he's in a position where he could do that.
Katie, maybe you're seeing all of these kind of fake news scandals, as Greg mentioned, happen in a condensed period of time because the media is so desperate. They have to manufacture this to get Trump out of office as fast as possible. And because it's a 24-hour news cycle now, they have to keep generating rating after rating point. I saw CNN do a thing yesterday that Trump was going to freak out because there's no beef in India.
Right.
And they had 3 reporters assigned to the byline.
That was the headline. Like, is the president going to be able to survive India on vegetarian meals that are served to him at the state dinner? I think there are bigger issues to talk about. But you know what Russia loves? Russia loves that Americans are being pitted against each other, which is exactly what they're always trying to do, and that they're talking about Russia. They're not interested necessarily in a certain candidate, whether it's Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. They just want us fighting with each other. And when people like Adam Schiff go through an entire impeachment process and hours on the floor talking about Russia, whether it's the Mueller investigation dragging out, whether it's people on television making this claim, and then the latest claim they had to walk back with the intelligence now showing that, oh, they're helping Bernie Sanders win the primary now. Russia doesn't care. They only care that we're fighting with each other and that Americans are at each other's throats. And that's exactly what they've been successful at doing for the past 3 years. And the question is, are people going to continue to allow them to do that? We're so concerned about Russian meddling. Why don't we stop giving them so much credit for doing something that they're not actually in control of?
Yeah.
They're getting free media.
They are.
Yeah, it really is
All the
inflating
time. It's
Vladimir
like Russia's in
Putin's
charge,
ego,
but they're
Juan.
not.
But just if you use common sense, wouldn't you just think that maybe Putin would want Bernie, since Bernie wants to slash defense spending? He wants to get rid of Space Force.
Wait a second. I mean, this has been so twisted here at this table. I don't even know where to start. But let me just say,
Start with the truth, Juan.
Hillary Clinton did not go off about the Russians helping Donald Trump. What she said was, the Russians continue to interfere, continue to spread misinformation.
She said they gave Trump the election.
And let me just
That's what she
say,
said.
they not only hacked Hillary Clinton, if you recall, but then used it against her campaign. They weaponized the information in such a way that drove mainstream media to cover it as if it was news. And
Weaponized the dossier.
And
the
we
mainstream
decided to
media
use
just played
private
along
server
like a
for
bunch of
classified
fools
information.
With the dossier.
and fed this to the American people. And then you say, oh,
Didn't the New
what
York
is
Times
Hillary Clinton? You know what?
refuse to publish WikiLeaks?
No, they certainly did not. And not only did they do that, they went after so many other things, including, by the way, my phone number. So I'm going to tell you something.
Juan, well,
that's very real. So if Hillary Clinton
I'm
says,
sorry about that,
if Hillary Clinton says, and before you distort it, Hillary Clinton says, you know what? You have to be careful about what you read on the internet, and it's disinformation. I think we should say,
Including her
I know you don't
tweets.
like Hillary Clinton, but that's the truth.
Russia, if you're listening, find Juan.
And
You know,
let me add something
All right,
here.
Juan,
No, let me finish.
we gotta go.
Let
you
me
know what
finish.
else? You got to understand that Trump.
Yes.
I will take Trump at his word that he wasn't told about Russia interfering to help him, because remember, I think it was one of his chiefs of staffs told Kristen Nielsen when she was over at Homeland Security, don't mention anything about Russia to Trump. It upsets him. So maybe people don't want to tell him. But if that's the case, let's also take it at faith, because it's also true, that Russia interfered in 2016, and everybody who has investigated from the top levels of government to people who are online say the bots and the Russians continue to interfere.
What about
in
the
American politics,
Russians
right?
love
In
what you're
order, in
saying
order to
right
push
now.
this
They love
story
it.
for 4 years, you have to ignore the biggest foreign interference story of all, which is the damn dossier.
Right.
You guys sit and
That
talk
is
about,
not
you
the
talk about
biggest.
little bots.
Yes, it
You
is.
guys
So
used the
ridiculous.
dossier.
Let me just say,
You can't be taken seriously.
stand
You
there
cannot be
and
taken
you try to make
seriously.
it, oh, the media, every night, it's the media.
The media
You know
drove
what?
that story.
Trump uses the internet just like the Russians to try
come on,
to interfere.
He uses
with
the internet and the websites.
Oh yeah, what did he
He
say
uses the
about
website.
What did he say about Sotomayor today?
Stop talking.
Sotomayor is
Juan.
supposed to recuse herself.
You're killing yourself, Juan.
No, you know what?
You're killing yourself.
Donald Trump is killing America.
Well,
That's
okay,
more like
Juan,
it.
Juan,
Yeah.
you just got back from Disney World,
Oh, yeah.
man.
And you're
supposed to be
still
in a good
fantasy.
mood.
You know what? You should walk around with a Trump
You
head
need
on.
to go back
That'd be
to
better.
vacation and
Yeah,
relax.
yeah.
All right.